Stay in your lane, we are not the same. We cannot explain things about to change, cause we run the game. Cause we run the game.
Howdy doody, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to another episode or event with your amazing boys Brandon Groce and Cole Jan, the new form kids. Never saying that again. I'm extremely tired today, guys. So is Cole. We had a long night, but we're here with you guys today because we love you. Not only that, but we have something cool to share with you today. As you guys may know, for those of you who have attended our new form events in the past, we have awesome events each and every month. Today, we have building for you guys an awesome cosmetic slash beauty slash skincare design in Figma and turning it into a real active and published site, all for you guys to watch, learn from, ask questions about, and even we have, if you guys are watching on YouTube, you guys get to have access not only to the demo but also to the template to play around with, reverse engineer, or even using your own projects. So we're super excited about that. On top of that, just wanted to say, hey, let us know in the chat where you're watching from, if this is your first time watching, and if you guys want to watch over here on YouTube, because we do know that we are live on 3 platforms right now. We're live on, obviously, well, 2 platforms, but 3 accounts. We're on YouTube and we are over on Instagram, both on Daily Web Design and UI UX Daily Tips. If you guys want to watch the whole and slash, if you come a little bit late or you want to come back, we have this recorded on YouTube. So with that being said, if you guys are on Instagram and want to watch this later or just want to watch on a bigger screen, comment YouTube on Instagram and we'll send you an automatic DM to you guys with the YouTube link. You can join us there. With that being said, a little bit more of house cleaning items and then I'm going to pass it to Cole. All right, so last thing, if you guys are not familiar, our community new form has a monthly challenge each and every month with cash prizes totaling $2,000. This month has been the theme of UI design. There's a couple days left. If you guys want a little bit of a taste, you want to jump in and or just sign up to get notified when next month's challenge happens. Be my guest. It's awesome. You get to build skill, be inspired by others, and get a little bit of taste of money if you do amazingly. With that being said, I think that's all the items I got. So with that said, Cole, what are we doing today? How should we start?
So if we could go ahead and share the screen, I'll show everyone what we're working with today.
Let's do it.
Fantastic. Okay, so I hope you guys can see the screen. This is the website that we're going to be building. Let me zoom in a little. So it is a skincare themed website, kind of more of a modern take on it. And yeah, we're going to be going through turning this whole thing into a fully functional Wix Studio website in about 45-ish minutes here. So yeah, we'll dive into that in a quick second. Before we do that, though, I want to tell you guys that if you come to our website, newform.community, and then you click on component library here, you can scroll down and grab the entire template for free. You just hit download, enter your email address, and you are good to go. You can also check out the demo, and the tutorial will be up later, which is just this live stream. So if you want this, yeah, come over here, put in your email, download it, try it out, and let us know how it is. But without further ado, let's kind of check it out. So I have the full website built here. So what you saw, what I just showed you on Figma, that was kind of the design of it. I mean, I'm sure you guys are fairly familiar with Figma. And then this is the actual design that is built in Wix Studio. Now, unfortunately, we have this little banner at the top that says built on Wix Studio, but otherwise this would be the full height of the screen. There would be no extra scroll here. But yeah, this is what we're going to be building today. And I'm excited to bring you guys along with me. So yeah, let's get into it. So first of all, let's hop back over to our Figma file. So you've gone through the work, you've designed it for your client, you've made the UI, you just want to put it up on your portfolio now. You're going to come over to these these 4 little dots here, or circles, actions, and grab Figma to Wix Studio if you can't find it. If it's not in your recents, just go ahead and search for it, and it should pop up as the first one right here. Okay. Once we click on that, we are going to need to set up export. Now, if you guys have watched these before, I think this is episode 9. Correct me if I'm wrong, Brandon, but I think it's episode 9. So if you've seen this before, just bear with me as we take a couple minutes here to explain it to those of you who may not have seen this before. So when we're here, we're going to hit setup export. It's fairly straightforward. We are going to copy our Figma URL first and foremost. Okay. If you're on the browser, on Figma browser, you can just come up to the browser bar and copy it. If you're not, you just come over to share here and hit copy link, and you are good to go. Okay. Once we've done that, we're going to head over to our Wix Studio site and put it in there. Now, there's a couple things that we need to do. So back over here, I have a fresh Wix Studio site. I just opened this up. I haven't done anything with it so far. There's only one page here, just home, and that's it. So what you're going to need to do when you land on here is you're going to come up to this far upper left. And if you're on Instagram, I apologize. I don't think that you can see this, but just comment YouTube in the chat, and we'll send you the link to the YouTube. But when you're in here, you're going to click the 3 dots, come down to Tools, and hit Import from Figma. And that's going to bring up this dialog here. And you're also going to have this icon on the left. So now, anytime you're in this website, you can just hit on this icon in the left. No need to go up to the 3 bars in the top and do that whole process again. So once you have that opened up, we are going to pop in our link here and hit connect. And it should be fairly quick. It's going to recognize the title, and in a quick second, it should grab something. Okay. And it did grab the right one. I think this is because I was playing around with it previously, but now that's the wrong way. If we come back here, we can hit I'm done connecting my Figma file, and hit next and hit start export. Okay. Now, typically it is recommended that you start by exporting your styles. If you're doing a big website for a client, you're going to want those styles on Wix Studio. We aren't going to dive into that today. I believe we have a previous workshop. I forget, it might be episode 3 or 4 that we did actually go into that. But today we're just going to be exporting the frame itself. So yeah, we're going to hit export frame, and we're going to make note of this frame width 1440 pixels. Wix has done a good job. It's going to be everywhere. You'll see why in a moment, but just make a note that the width of our mockup here is 1440 pixels, and I need to come over and grab this mockup instead. There we go. Okay. And then just hit export frame. It's as simple as that. The steps are very easy to walk through, in fact. And yeah, let's hop back over now. And we can hit refresh import. Now we're going to see a couple errors or warnings pop up rather. First of all, is this Figma reference width 1440 pixels? So when you import something from Figma to Wix Studio, it has to be the same width. Otherwise, you're going to run into just so many problems. So we're going to come up here to our width and make sure that it's changed to 1440 pixels. Now, don't worry. I'm going to show you in a second how we're going to make this fully responsive on tablet and on mobile as well. But for now, we need it to be on 1440 pixels, or if you design on 1920 or 1280, then you'll need to adjust it accordingly. And now you can see our warning has gone away, which is quite nice. The other thing is that 2 fonts are missing. Sometimes this pops up. I do in fact have these fonts installed, but they have slightly different names. And so that can kind of create that confusion there, but we're going to go ahead and ignore that for right now. But it is important to have the right fonts in there. Otherwise, some fonts are larger, smaller than others. It's not going to look perfect when you import it. Okay. Last thing before we import this sucker is I'm going to go ahead and delete the default header and the default footer, and we're going to come down to the bottom. Now, if you're importing a whole page of content, you can go ahead and add the frame as a page. I find when it comes to making things responsive, we want to set it to section. That's typically easier and go section by section. Here we only have one section, so we're just going to import that, and we can hit add to site now. And it should come in pretty quickly, and in fact, it should look almost identical to what we have on Figma. So yeah, this is what we've got. We
Looking
have some.
clean.
Thank you. Yes, I
Easily
appreciate
important.
that. Yeah, yeah, super easy. Yeah. Yeah, and let me know, Brandon, if there are any questions in the chat, guys. If you have questions about how we did that, I know we ran through that sort of quickly, but you can always come back and rewatch it as well if you need. But yeah, like I said, Brandon, if there's any questions, feel free to interrupt.
For sure. It's a conversation, guys. You're watching, you're learning, we're talking. I'm here. I want my fingers to activate on the keyboard, but also our mouths. But continue, Cole.
Awesome. Okay. So we're in here now, and we'll notice that things look quite good, but not perfect. The biggest issue you can probably see is that we have this big black box here instead of our image. And there is good reason for that. Figma to Wix Studio, the plugin itself, doesn't handle gradients very well. Okay, it sometimes doesn't really like them too much. So we're going to go ahead and fix that here. There are a couple other cosmetic things. First of all, this arrow is pointing the wrong way. We'll go ahead and fix that. And then we're just going to realign some of these things up in the top here that aren't really perfectly aligned. So we'll go ahead and do that. However, you'll notice that a lot of these are already in stacks. They're already in containers, and they're pretty well laid out. There is some misalignment here, but that's an easy fix. And the reason that we had that is because if we come back over to our Figma file, I had everything in auto layout. So if you select a couple things and hit, if you select a few things and hit Shift A on your keyboard, you'll see auto layout added. It's going to add the auto layout. And then when you import it from Figma to Wix Studio, then we actually, it's going to recognize that and it's going to put it in containers and in stacks. And that typically will make your life easier, hopefully. So yeah, just a quick little note there. But anyways, let's hop back here and let's start fixing some things up. So I have run through this before just to be a little prepared. And there is a bit of a quirk here almost. So we have two containers here and it's imported our text and our buttons twice. And I don't fully know why, but you can see right here we have our text and buttons twice in here. For whatever reason, I couldn't tell you exactly why. One of the quirks of it. So, anyways, we're gonna select all of this content and delete it because we have it all right here as well. And then we just need to nest this container into our container here, and that actually has gone through automatically and done that for us. So, fantastic. Now we have this container here, and we can center it and start applying our gradient to it. So in background here, we're going to select gradient. Let me drag this in the front and center so you can see. We're going to select gradient here. And then we do not want this green color, in fact, so we'll drag it to be fully vertical. And let me just hop back to our Figma file real quick, and I will grab the color itself. Now you'll see a couple notes here. Our gradient ends at the very top and it is fully transparent. And then it starts at the bottom and it is 70%, but we also have 35% on here. I probably shouldn't have done that way. It's a little confusing, but we'll have about 30% opacity at the bottom here, 20 to 30%. So let's hop back over here and we can input our colors just like so. So yeah, just add the color here and pop that in, grab the other color and also pop that in if I can. There we go. Okay, so we've got a good color looking now. And let me set that top to 0. We can drag this bottom one out a touch, and then we can set it to something like 25, let's say. And that's just so that our white text on the bottom here is readable. We can actually see it. If I set this to 0, it's a little bit too bright, not very usable. Someone was going to get mad at me if I didn't fix that. So we'll set this up to 30, and that should probably be good. Okay. Next thing, let's flip this arrow so we don't have two arrows going exactly the same way. We'll just come to adjust down here and we can just hit flip horizontally. No, flip, there we go, flip vertically, even though we're flipping horizontally. I don't know. Anyways, yeah, we're gonna flip this horizontally like so. And then the rest up here is just aligning things, little small details. Sometimes when you have small details like this, it can be hard to select them. So come into the layers and use that instead. I would love for Wix to have a zoom feature, quite like how Figma does. But we cannot get what we want. So instead, we'll just come in here and select the layers instead. And that'll make things a little bit easier for us. And I probably should have explained this a little better. We're just hitting align to vertical center here. So everything is kind of in one straight line and not kind of all over the place. And yeah, that should be it. So far we've been doing this. We've been out for 15 minutes or so. And already we have built a fully functional website on desktop, at least. If we come in here and hit preview, we can see the website is right there. We have everything. We have buttons here. We have text. We got images. So yeah, it's very quick, very easy to set up. But now we are going to get into a bit more of the specifics here and start mobile optimizing this. Now, there is a couple frequently asked questions. One of the most frequent is why can't we just take this design right here, this mobile design in Figma, and just import that into Wix Studio like we did with the desktop version? And it's a fantastic question. Right now, Wix doesn't have that capability. Yeah, it's really unfortunate, but we will have to kind of manually go through and turn this mockup from desktop into mobile. And it will be a bit of work, but we'll get through it. So the reason that we have this iPhone or this mobile design here is just for reference. You'll obviously design this when you're designing any sort of UI, any sort of responsive UI. So you'll have it here and it's good for reference. We'll come back to this and reference it as we're making it responsive. So yeah, that is the reason why we have this here. I just wanted to point that out because sometimes it can not be super clear. Brendan, I see a couple of questions that I haven't had time to read. Do you want to go over those?
For sure. They're a little sidebar, but they are good questions. So Nimishara, thank you for your question. They are related to design systems. And actually, I think even though it's kind of like a sidebar, I think maybe it's something that we can kind of talk about while we move through these things. But essentially, a lot of people who are watching this are designers. A lot of people are curious about how it is that you came about, what it is, really the design aesthetic that you built. But at the same time, how we're building something structurally, but can you talk a little bit about how you feel in regards to how you chose to design what we have here today, but also your thoughts on design systems and how you go about designing things so that they look like they're from the same language?
Yeah, no, for sure. So, yeah, that's a great question. So I guess we'll take those one at a time and break those down a little. Yeah, so there's a couple important things when you go about designing. I think there's kind of 4 or 5. So images, text, those kind of make up the majority of it, and then colors as well. Those are kind of the big 3 things. If you can nail those down, images, text, color, then you're going to be in really good shape for your design. So images are fairly straightforward, really aiming for high quality images that kind of make sense in the context. So this image here I got from Pexels. Actually, it takes a lot of scrolling, right? You can search for 1 or 2 things and you won't initially find what you're looking for. It took me probably 15 or 20 minutes to find a good image, actually. And then these are actually mockups that I made. I searched, I think I went to minimalmockups.com. I think we can come in here and I'll show you. So mockups.com. Yeah, here we go. So I came in here, we hit all mockups, and then cosmetics, actually. Yeah, so here they are. These are exactly what I took. They're all free to use. and they're really great. So you pull them into Photoshop and you can edit those yourself. But I think I'm getting a little sidetracked here. How can we get a good, I guess, design language going? And the best, recommendation I can have is to work off of already pre-built design systems and see what they have. So Google has a really good one. Tailwind CSS is also a strong one, and I think Airbnb also has a really good design material design system. So yeah, go ahead and check those out. Those are going to be really strong strong recommendations to start building something. And then once you get comfortable with it, you can go ahead and start building your own. And yeah, just focusing on consistency with the icons, with the colors, with the images, and yeah, you should be in really good shape. So I hope that kind of answered the question.
It did. We also, and we'll try to tag. We'll do it simply for now, Maeve, because you do also have a great question. Maeve was asking, what about fonts too? Also, first of all, if you guys want to, we have literally every Wednesday after we have these sessions, because a lot of you guys find the channel for the first time, the community for the first time. We have a kind of gathering in our community Discord called Design and Chat, where literally all the questions you had that didn't get answered, or was semi a little bit outside of what we were showing, but you wanted to ask us because you thought we were knowledgeable and or cool, you guys can comment, especially if you're on Instagram, comment and join. We'll send you an automatic DM so that you can join our community, our Discord, and you can join us at 1 p.m. EST today for our Design and Chat to meet us, hang out for a whole hour. Sometimes we stay a little bit over, but to ask more of your questions, but we can go over all the things such as design fundamentals, design systems, things like that. We talk about web design or web development, no code tools such as Wix Studio, other things other than Wix Studio, because we're all trying to learn. Where platforms necessarily don't matter, they learn from each other. But really the whole thing is, we love Wix Studio. There's a lot of other competitors out there that do awesome work, and really they kind of push each other. So we're all trying to learn and also help give feedback to the tools that we know and love to also improve in that way. With that being said, yes, thank you, Cole. There is a link in the description. If you guys are over here on YouTube, there's all the links are down in the description to the Figma link, to the Figma, what is the word? The Figma project, and also to the demo of our of Cole's page, and also the template that you can actually download, open up, and play around with for yourself. With that being said, I'm gonna pass it back to you, Cole. But as you guys have questions, keep popping them in the chat. I'll try to answer them via text. If we get so inspired, we'll open our mouths again. But I know Cole has got a little bit more, I think, to go. But as we close out, we'll start to have a little bit more room to have open form and kind of go off topic and revisit things. And again, we have Design and Chat. We'd love to see you guys there. All right, Cole, back to you.
Awesome. Okay, so yeah, sorry, I forgot to put the link, the design in the Figma file. It should be in there now. I just pasted it in, so thanks for the reminder on that. Okay, so yeah, we got a little sidetracked there, but now we need to make this mobile and tablet responsive for everyone. So let's get into that, and there is a little bit of kind of some considerations here. So let's focus on that. So when we scale things down on desktop here, things look, pretty good, right? We're not gonna touch too much here. I certainly don't have the time to touch too much here. But when we come into tablet, it's a little bit too small. And then when we come into mobile, it's definitely too small. So we need to make some adjustments here. And the way we're going to do that is by hiding a couple things, first of all, and then rearranging it. So, naturally our desktop is going to be very wide and kind of narrow. And then slowly our screen starts to shrink in, and we go to tablet, and then we go to mobile, where it's the opposite. It's very tall and not too wide. So we need to naturally take things that are in columns and stack them into, or sorry, take things that are in rows and stack them into columns. Okay, and the way we're going to do that is by rejigging some things. So in here, we're going to start hiding a couple things and move some stuff around. So I'm going to grab this and we will hit hide. Make sure you're not deleting any stuff. Otherwise, it is going to permanently delete from all of the breakpoints, which would not be good. They are right next to one another, which is a little unfortunate, but yeah, we'll come in here and hide some of this stuff. So let me select this. And yeah, just hiding a couple things here. Okay, that's good. And then we're actually going to take this whole thing here and hide it, because we are going to turn it into a slider on the bottom here that is scrollable. Okay. And yeah, that is a good way to lay things out. Sliders, scrollable sections, more height and more scroll width, because we don't have as much room on our, site. Okay. So I'm going to come in here and actually hide this entire container here. Next, we are going to grab this whole section here, and I'm going to make it a bit taller, okay? And the reason for that is it's just going to make it a lot easier to work with. Now, I don't really like the scaled pixels that Wix has. Sometimes I prefer them, but not really today. So we're going to come in here and switch on always show advanced sizing preferences, okay? And that's going to make our life a lot easier. Next, we are going to come back into our section and add some margins, right? We don't want things going too close to the edges, so we're going to add some margins here. We're just going to keep it simple with about 25 pixels, nothing massive, just a little bit. Actually, we can probably bump that down to 20 pixels. That's good. Okay. Then we're going to come into this container and set the width to 100%. Okay. That's going to throw a couple things off. But we are going to fix that right now. So we are going to come into the image, set that to 100%, and then come into our overlay container and set that to 100% as well. Okay. And we're also going to set our heights to 100% so they fill up the entire container. Okay. Fantastic. Next, we need our section, like I said, we need to stretch it out and make it a bit longer. Otherwise, things are going to get real difficult to work with here. So I like to make it quite large. We'll set it to 200 view height. 100 viewport height VH here is like 100% of your screen. So 200 is 200% of the height of your screen. Okay. We're going to drag this container out. It doesn't need to be perfect. We'll just come in here and grab something like that. And then you'll notice that even though we set it to 100%, it has set back down. So we need to come in and reset that back up to 100 and set that back to 100 too. Okay, awesome. So this is coming along a bit better than before. I'm going to move this entire section down though, because we need a little bit more space here for ourselves here. So let me do that real quick. So in here, we're going to scroll down to the bottom and we're working with percents right now. And that's okay. Actually, we're going to leave it with as a percent right now. Yeah, something like that, 6%, because we're going to make this a little bit larger. Actually, I lied. We're going to switch to pixels and set this up to something like 60 pixels. Okay. Fantastic. So things are looking good here. And this container in the background, we are also going to hide because we don't need that anymore. Okay. Now, importantly, we haven't changed anything on desktop. Our desktop looks exactly the same. However, any changes that are made on tablet are going to cascade, is the word, they're going to cascade down to mobile as well. And that's really good. That's exactly what we want. Okay. So we're going to come back in here and now we need to set our text to be larger. Okay. Now I'm just going to kind of eyeball this. We'll set it up to something like 45 or so. Should be pretty good. We'll make that a little wider and move that over. Why are you not moving? Anyways, okay. We'll also set this to be a little larger as well. And same thing with these buttons down here. We're going to come into text and just set these up a little larger than before. Fantastic. Okay. Awesome. So why is this It's asking me to reparent. Oh, that's really bizarre. Oh, I see what's going on. Okay, sorry. We are going to reparent these real quick and attach them to the right container here. Fantastic. Okay, we are in the correct container now, and we can scroll, or we can slide these rather down to the bottom here and get them looking a little bit better. Obviously, if you had a little more time than I did, you would take a little more care with making things a little bit better spaced. You'd probably edit the margins a little on this, make them look better. But as it stands, we are on a bit of a time crunch today. So yeah, we'll drag that out and make the corners a little bit larger, like so. Okay, fantastic. So this section is looking really good, actually. Now we need to we need to get our slider going. And then we'll come back up and focus on this section up here. So in order to make our slider, we are going to set this height back down to auto. And that should, actually, we need to come down here and set our row to auto as well. Okay, now that has squished it down, and we have our next section here. Okay, in our next section, we're going to add an element, and we're just going to add a repeater. Okay, this is how we're going to make that slider that slides along very nicely. Okay, the way that we are going to do that is we're going to come in here and set this to about 250%. Okay, we're not going to set it all the way up to 300 because we want a little bit of that card, of this next card, showing. Although we might set it a touch higher now that I'm saying that. Okay, something like that. Okay, that is looking really good. We're going to set this to 0 here. And you know how I said that we don't want things touching the side here? Well, this is one exception, and I will show you why in a real quick second here. We're going to have a bit of margin at the top, so there is some separation, just like so. Okay, awesome. So the nice thing about a repeater is it's going to do a lot of the heavy lifting for us. So if we come in here and grab an image and just attach it, we're actually going to attach it to all of them. Now, we can't see that right now. We can't scroll, actually. Well, we can, but we can't scroll on this section. And that is because we need to set overflow content here to scroll. And we will set the scroll direction to be both. And we can turn off show scroll bar. And now you can see that we can actually scroll through and view the entire repeater. Okay. However, I don't like that we're right up against the edge here. That's no good. So we're going to come into the padding, and it's important that we do it in the padding here. And we're going to set this to be 25 pixels, and we will set these to be regular pixels. And the reason for that, the reason that we need to set it in the padding here, not in the section padding, or sorry, I did set it in the section padding. I need to not do that. We need to come into the repeater and then set the padding. And the reason that we need to do that is because if I scroll along here, we need the padding to be on this side as well. And that doesn't happen when it's on a section. And this took me forever to figure out, right? If I set this back down to 0, and then I come into the section and set this to 25 pixels, it looks all great on the left-hand side here. You can see that everything lines up very nicely. But if we scroll, we don't actually have any padding on the right-hand side here. And that's no good. We don't want that. So yeah, set this back down to 0. Just a quick little trick here. And set the repeater padding itself to 25 pixels. And you should be looking good. Okay. Now, we don't want a picture of a sand dune in here, and we need this image to be larger, a lot larger. So let's go ahead and change the image. Now, when you use Figma to Wix Studio, it's actually going to put all of your assets in here. Now, there are buttons in here and things like that. These are just images. And the reason for that is because we just simply don't have time to set everything up to have all those buttons and such. If we did have more time, of course, you would make that into buttons. You'd have your text in there, and then you'd have your image. But yeah, we don't have quite that much time today. Okay, fantastic. So we've imported this image here. And if I grab this repeater, you can see that it hasn't imported for each and every one of them. And that's okay. That's good, right? We don't want the same image on each one. We want a different image. So we'll come in and grab our next image here, put that in there, and then grab our next image change image and put it in there. Now you'll see that it's maintaining the same size and it looks really bad actually. So we are going to make a couple of changes here. First of all, we're going to come into this gear icon and we're going to change this to keep image ratio. That's really important. Okay. If you don't have that, the image is going to be kind of all over the place. It's not going to look good. Things are going to be getting cut off. So that is very important. You come into display mode, keep image ratio, very important. Okay. From there, it's very straightforward. Actually, we just set the image width to 100%, and that is going to set it to 100% of the container width here. And I actually need to come into this, and I think I set the wrong scroll direction or too many scroll directions. Yeah, sorry. So in here, I set the scroll direction to both. You don't want that. You want it to just be horizontal. Just horizontal scroll, okay? And that way we can scroll along horizontally, but we won't get any vertical scroll, and that's good. Now, we have a lot of things that are being cut off at the moment, and that is not fantastic. So let's come into this section here. Our height is automatically set here. We're going to turn that off. We're going to come in here and set that to auto. And now you can see that we can scroll all the way down and see our entire image, which is fantastic. Now, we need to come into the item here and select our image and actually get it centered in the container so that we have the whole thing looking good here. Okay. It does appear a little large on this screen, but trust me, it's going to shrink down nice and small. The very last thing that we're going to do, actually, there's two last things that we're going to do. We're going to come into this item here, and we have a bit of gray here. It can be a little difficult to see because of all the overlays and blue lines, but I'm going to set the background to 0% so that we don't have any background here. Then I'm going to come into our section up here and grab this color. So it is F8 and change it down here to the same color. So yeah, F0, that is not F8. We'll come in here and set it to F8, just like so. Fantastic. So everything looks good through there. Yeah, so that is kind of the majority of this. Like I said, there are definitely some changes that you're going to want to make if you have more time than I do. Like in here, we can set the gaps to be a touch wider. Yeah, there we go. We'll set them to be wider. We'll come in here and maybe change the corners to 30 pixels instead of 16. Just some small changes here. To get us looking a little bit more kind of on brand here. Yeah, like so. And let me just bump up these corners a touch more so they kind of match up a little bit better. Something like that. Okay, fantastic. Last thing that we need to do, if we come into our mobile screen, we can see that everything should look relatively good. We can stretch this container out a little bit more and set all our image to 100% and set our set our container here also to 100% and then move some things around. But yeah, for the most part there, we look to be in pretty good shape. The last thing that we're going to want to focus on here is this navbar at the top. It is much too small. Yeah, that's not going to be working out too well for us. So I'm going to come back up to desktop here. Now, when you have multiple stacks in a row, I've found it's very difficult to work with actually. So we're going to come in here and we're going to unstack this. And then we're also going to come in here and unstack this as well. Fantastic. Okay. Now, when we come down here, actually, if we stay on desktop for a moment, we can see that everything still looks good. It all scales properly, even without that stack. But that is going to let us come in here, and then we can hide some of these elements in here. So we can hide this, and we are also going to hide the sign in like so. Yeah, hide. Fantastic. Last but not least, let's bump up our font size, not that large, to something like this and stretch it out to be a single row. And we can move our menu. Oh, not that. We can take our menu and move it over to the right here. So let me bind it to the right. And yeah, we'll deal with that in a quick second here. We can let's move this to the left, align it to the left, and yeah, just some small kind of tweaks and changes here. It is very simple to go through and do all of this. But yeah, it takes just a bit of time here. So last but not least, let's come into our menu here and bump up the font size to 12. We'll actually go a little larger, to 16. And then we're going to come in here and set the width to max content. And that's going to make sure that it's all in one line. And that is exactly what we want. Okay. Finally, we're also going to grab this and set our item spacing to be a bit larger, and we're going to set our icon up to be a fair amount larger as well. And I like to set both the height and the width so that we have both of those well-defined pixels. There we go. Fantastic. Okay, that is looking much better than it was before. And let's do the exact same thing for the container here. So let me set this to 30 pixels. 30 pixels. Thank you. Maybe a little larger, 35. And we'll do 35 pixels here as well. And come in here, grab this vector and set it to pixels. When you have small objects like this, typically I find it's a lot easier to work with just regular pixels since they don't change a lot from desktop to mobile. They look good on either. So yeah, let me just make some last finishing touches here, and then we can move into any questions that you might have. And yeah, I think that is for the most part pretty much it. So yeah, I will open it up to any questions that you have. We can hop over and check out the kind of the finished site here, what it's yeah. And yeah, if there are any questions, Brandon, or comments, yeah, feel free to ask.
My bad. I totally muted myself. All right. We're totally able to go back and jump to the screen, but you guys, especially Namisha, and I apologize if that is not how you pronounce your name, we'll get it together. But I just wanted to share with you guys, a lot of people I saw came from Instagram to YouTube. If this is your first time joining us, literally what these workshops are for, just to clear up the workflow. A lot of our community, a lot of our initial people joining the community, they're designers like me and Cole. You guys literally live in Figma. You have your little cot in Figma. That's where you work day in, day out. But the world of tomorrow, as you guys all know, is AI, smoother workflows, things that are built in the real world, meaning applications. So the skill set that we're trying to help educate you and build you on is, as designers that we've both been in the industry for quite some time, our skill set is design aesthetic, design language, but how do we take that and start to take a little bit more ownership of the process of building real things? So what Wix Studio allows us to do is, as non-technical coders, is to be able to take the things that we build, whether it's for ourselves, other creative businesses, our clients, or the companies that we work for. How can we turn what is just in a Figma file to a real working prototype that isn't just pixel dust in a Figma file? So kind of what we're sharing, or what we shared today, if you guys are coming a little bit late, is the process of taking the Figma file that we all use every day as a designer. How can we take that and turn it into a real thing? So that's where Wix Studio comes in. There was a couple of questions of what platform you're using, why we're using that platform, a couple questions about Figma and auto layout and how that transports into Wix Studio. There's different processes for literally everything. If you're a designer and you're used to your role literally just handing over a Figma file, it's different than this process. This process, what Cole did in Figma, is kind of just represent how he wants to. And Cole, actually, if you could pull up your Figma file again, we'll go to your screen.
Yes, for sure.
So what Cole has here, excuse me, let me go here. On his screen, he's laid out the desktop, the tablet version, and the mobile version simply for visual aesthetic, saying, okay, this is going to be our goal for how we want to represent this in the Wix Studio file. Now, this also just isn't for Cole. Cole honestly could just build the desktop version and start building in the Wix Studio, which is literally what we showed you in this workshop today, because you can't import the tablet and mobile version as of yet into Wix Studio. But it's probably a good thing that it doesn't, because what we need to do is, as we import our desktop project, what we need to do as an actual not developer minded, but a responsive minded designer, just like we're used to auto layout in Figma, there's rules that we have to be aware of. We have to know how things are actually going to flow, like how we actually stack things properly, so that things are responsive when the viewport is pushed and pulled. Literally, that's the same skill set that you need as a designer, but we're using a different tool with different names for these things. So we can upload the desktop design and simply, just like you would make your design responsive in Figma, but it's not a real thing, you can make and spend time just by uploading the Figma desktop design and making that actually responsive, and it be a functional real thing that you can send to your client, or actually be able to take the design and development portion of a project for your client. Or even if you're at an agency, you're able to take and own more of the process. Okay, I think that's what I wanted to share. Let me look at, if you guys have other questions, please pop them in, because I want to also, Nimisha, I liked your question about, whatchamacallit. Sorry, I'm just looking for a couple more things about stacks. So one of the things that's awesome about it, and this is exactly like Figma. Cole, can we switch to Wix Studio and just open up a new page really quick? We're not going to do anything too intense.
Yeah, for sure.
Or you can, okay.
Oh, I guess I could have just
yeah, we're tired today, guys. Yeah. Cole had like a quarter a piece of toast today. I don't know what I ate this morning. I still need juice. Okay.
There's your new
So let's do this really quick. So like I said, this is why we like this tool, because it's literally no different than Figma. Just the what things are called are a little bit different, and the only learning curve is the names. So can we put two images really quick? Just throw two different images. Boom, and let's change one of the images.
There.
Yeah, boom, that's perfect. All right, let's throw these puppies in a stack really quick. Okay, so, and let's center that to the screen.
Really put me through my paces here.
Sorry, no, you're good. We're gonna keep it super simple. So, Nimisha's question was, how do stacks work? Literally how stacks work in Figma. And they're responsive as well. So there's different rules applied to each breakpoint, which is extremely smart and extremely easy for us. So we're going to do just a horizontal stack for desktop. What we're going to do is, now we're going to go to tablet really quick when you are able. And what we're going to do is we are going to switch this to vertical. And if we wanted to, we don't have to. Let's just switch the my brain is farting hella hard. Let's switch the top photo to the bottom photo. let's swap them. There you go, perfect. And if you guys saw that, all Cole had to do is just hit a bottom arrow. We can also use our keyboard or literally just drag the photo down. It's pretty straightforward if you guys are seeing that. Okay, now let's go to the mobile version.
Yes. Sorry, I'm just replying to Maeve here. Yeah, there we go.
All right, and let's scale this up a little bit. We just because we can.
I gotta change the images.
All right, yeah, just You're good. Cool. All right, and now let's put this back to horizontal. And what did we have on desktop? Let's just go back there real quick. Okay, cool. So now we have, and we could publish this, but I just want you guys to know that if we publish this, this will actually be on a URL. This is not just like, again, this is not just a design file. So what we've done here, we have a stack. There's 3 different breakpoints. And Nimisha's question was, are stacks flexible? Can we switch content from the top to bottom, from vertical to horizontal? And the answer is yes. We did it in a very simple example here. On desktop, we have the hand photo to the left, sand to the right. On tablet, if we pop over to there.
Yes, sorry.
All that talking got you. And that we have the vertical one. And of course, if you guys want to make the photos smaller, bigger, be my guest, but we're just trying to, you know, answer this question very simply. So in the, the tablet, the sand was on the top, the hand was on the bottom. Or excuse me, we had sand on top, hand was on the bottom. And on mobile, if we go there, we have sand to the left, hand on the right. So that's just to showcase how stacks are flexible. And then Maeve has another question I think that you might have answered, which is better, design stacks or containers? That's a great question, Maeve, and it really depends on your comfortability with the platform. And also that's first and foremost, because a lot of the people who are comfortable and have played a good amount in Wix Studio, they're comfortable, they know how to really control containers, because that's what containers give you. It's kind of for an advanced user. Stacks, they're for advanced users and also for people who are brand new to Wix Studio. Stacks do the same thing containers do. They're flexible, however, they're not as advanced in terms of the flexibility you can have with containers. But if you don't know how to utilize containers, things can get really messy. So I would recommend starting with stacks, because you can pretty much do probably anything that you need to as somebody who is beginning in their Wix Studio design sort of creation. But as you want to do more complex things, you want to, you want totally different layouts from your desktop to your tablet to your mobile. Containers allow you that flexibility where you can totally take things out, move things in totally different arrangements. There's a lot more flexibility in containers. It's a lot more advanced in terms of skill cap, but stacks is the beginner version of it, and I highly recommend, if you're feeling getting the feel of stacks, stick with stacks before you move to containers, because you have to know a lot more. Yeah, I would stick with stacks in the beginning. There are some areas where you'll start to learn about containers and how to utilize them, but I don't think you'll be making anything super complex. Like I mostly stick with stacks unless I'm doing some weird sectional thing where I need containers, or I really need to control a particular area with containers. So yes, let me see. And I think that might be it, guys. Again, if you guys have any questions, it's a pleasure to see all you guys here. We had Maeve, we had Nishima, or Misha. Sorry, I also had a piece of toast. Namisha, I'm sorry. Namisha, Maeve. We had Igor. We had Nina. A couple other people in the chat here. I got them scrolling up heavy. Let me see. We had Mark. It was good to see you guys. We had Kimberly. So we're super happy to have you guys here. And also We'd love to learn from you guys as well, because we know you all are using different tools. You're getting different insights, and that's what our Newform community is about. Sure, we do workshops on Wix Studio, but really the value of what Newform brings, if you guys are not in the community, we have over 13, almost 14,000 community members in our Discord, and we come from all walks of life. We have beginners, we have intermediate people who have been in UI, UX, product design, game design, and we also have agency level, and not just like beginner agency. We have multi-million-dollar agencies in our community, and we all share kind of great questions, great answers, and we're all global. So if you might have some fams, you literally might have a next door neighbor in the community. So if you guys haven't checked it out, if you're on Instagram and want to join, hang out, comment, join. And I think other than that, we have our challenge. If you guys are a little bit late and you just want to kind of watch who wins, that event happens next week. And also, if you just want to kind of hang out and see what next month's challenge is, I think that will be good for you to join the community. Other than that, we have design and chat later today at 1 p.m. EST after I eat properly. And I think one other thing, if you guys are not privy, a lot of you guys on Instagram have actually been doing awesome with this, and we have a ton of, see, that's my food alarm. That means it's time to go, and it's food, so I can get ready for the next meeting. If you guys want and are amazing designers, or you just are like, I think my work can get posted on Daily Web Designs, I'm going to show what my awesome work is capable of. We have a showcase page on Newform where we are starting every Friday. We are posting awesome content from those on Instagram. You guys know we have over 600 or about 595K on Instagram. We run about 1.1 million impressions every month. So if you guys want your work to get seen by a ton of creatives and top design brands like on the internet, highly recommend you submit your work. We have a ton of designs to go through for this week. Hope to see a ton more. You guys have been submitting more and more, and we've crossed 100 submissions so far for the showcase page, which is absolutely awesome, and we love to see each and every one of your guys' work. So other than that, thank you guys for coming. Cole, do you have any final bits?
Yeah, thank you guys so much for tuning in. We really appreciate it, and yeah, we hope to see you in the community.
Awesome. Other than that, links down in the description on YouTube to download and check out any of the things that you guys saw today. And if you guys are on Instagram, comment to YouTube so you can actually get the link to YouTube and get all the things. All right, guys. See you in Discord. Peace.